Cause you do too much. Worse than y'all. She punching me for real.
Get off me, hoe. And I just cracked my nail.
Go get some super glue. Outside of the crowd. It's her mother, bro. It's her mother, bro. It's her mother, bro. It's her mother, bro. I'll tell you everything. It's her mother, bro.
That same morning, this woman had been at home sending her daughter off to prom with food, photos, and a house full of family. And just hours later, somebody rolled up on that party and opened fire, leaving her dead on the ground while her kids were right there. Before anything else, you need to know who this woman was, because once you understand the kind of person she was, everything that happened that night hits completely different.
Bitch, you know I ain't say shit like that on that Facebook post, bitch.
We just said we went to church and you was gonna say bitch.
Who here?
Deanna.
So you didn't say that you want, you never said you wanted to be like me, and you never said you want to be like me and I'm greater than you. Come on. What was you saying on my ear then? What was you saying in my ear?
Nothing.
When you said on my lap and whisper, you didn't say, TT, I love you.
I didn't say shit like that, bitch. Sorry.
Brittany Marie Members, who almost everyone in her life knew as Brittany Grundy, was a 38-year-old mother living on the near north side of Indianapolis. Her legal last name was Members, given to her at birth, but she went by Grundy on social media, and that is how her whole community knew her. She was not famous or in the news before this day. She was just a regular woman from the neighborhood who gave everything she had to her kids and the people around her. And that alone tells you a lot about the energy she brought into her room. Every tribute that came out after her death across Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads described the same woman, someone who was warm, caring, always ready to help, and who brought people together around family. Friends talked about how she treated everyone with respect and made ordinary moments feel like something special. One person who knew her mentioned that she had worked as a carer for an elderly person, which lines up with how everyone described her character, even though that detail has not been confirmed in official records. The picture that comes out from all these tributes is consistent. This was a woman who poured herself into other people. She had multiple children, including at least one teenage daughter who was at the center of events that Saturday night. And one of the details that hit her community the hardest when the news broke was that one of her children was still a baby. So you were talking about a woman who had a newborn at home, a teenager heading to prom, and other kids in between. And she was doing what good mothers do, which is showing up for all of it without complaint.
You'll be with the baby antelopes, crocodiles. You're with the water.
DJ, get up! DJ, get up! Get up! Get up! Get up! DJ, get up! Get up! Get up!
With bugs, seagulls, McDonald's rappers, pit bulls, and city babies. And
everybody asks me why I'm me.
Okay.
April 29th, 2016.
Okay.
Whole nigga took my sister away from me. Now I'm motherfucking straight up angry.
Okay.
Okay. Motherfucker, you don't know what you did.
Okay.
Bitch ass nigga, you ain't took my sister. Now you motherfucking ass, you a straight up puss. Okay. You took at White Castle. But the bitch feeling like you now.
Now that you know who she was, let us talk about the last full day of her life, because the way that day started is the reason this story is so painful to sit with. On the afternoon of Saturday, May 2nd, 2026, Brittany put together what people in her circle were calling the Main and Tank's prom send-off, a proper family send-off for her daughter's prom night. The gathering started at her home around 5:30 in the evening, with food and drinks and the whole family around. By about 7 o'clock, her daughter was stepping out the door in full prom attire, with photos being taken and people celebrating around them. Those photos and videos spread all over social media after her death, and they became the image people connected to her memory. this proud mother surrounded by her family, completely unaware of what was coming later that night. One widely shared post on Instagram captured how people felt about it. Brittany Grundy spent the day celebrating her daughter by sending her off to prom with love, food, and a house full of people, and what should have been a joyful day turned into tragedy. A post on Threads said it even simpler. As a parent, all you want to do is send your kids off to prom. Watch them. She got a chance to watch those moments in her life, but it was tragically cut short right after. That is where part 1 leaves us. A woman who spent her last day doing something beautiful for her daughter, and then later that same night, she walked into the worst situation imaginable at a party she had no reason to fear. The after-prom party was at a large 2-story yellow house in the 4000 block of North Park Avenue on Indianapolis's near North Side. The property was being rented out on apps like Airbnb, but it wasn't registered with the city of Indianapolis the way local law required. The company that owned it, 4Life Investments Inc. out of Fort Wayne, didn't even know the rule existed. The house had no oversight, guest screening, or any security responsible for who walked through that door. As the night kept building, neighbors estimated close to 100 people packed inside and around the property, cars double parked up and down the full street. A neighbor named Brandy Mitchell described it. But as the night progressed, there were more and more people showing up, and we were getting a little agitated because it's a lot of people. And when there's a lot of people and didn't look like a lot of supervision after those hours, it could get a little scary. What nobody outside knew yet was that hours before the shooting, someone had posted on social media showing people in the driveway right in front of the prom decorations, holding up 4 weapons, including 2 semi-automatic rifles with extended magazines and handguns. A neighbor confirmed it to reporters the next morning. My wife showed me a picture of folks out in front of this very distinctive yellow house, and they were holding up automatic firearms and handguns. So yeah, there were guns at the house. Long guns with extended clips next to prom balloons in the driveway, while Brittany and close to 100 people celebrated inside. Just before 1 in the morning on May 3rd, IMPD received the first reports of a shooting at North Park Avenue. Police have said it came from some kind of fight at the party that turned into gunfire, though the exact trigger has not been officially confirmed. The evidence makes clear the attack didn't come in one burst. A white vehicle, described by different neighbors as either a hatchback or a USV, drove up and the people inside opened fire on the house. Security cameras in the area captured what followed. The vehicle reversed back up the street with its lights off, then returned, and the shooting came in 2 to 3 separate rounds, while people at the party fired back from inside. A neighbor watching from her window described it. I heard some gunfire, and I went to the window and I saw a car backing up the street. It was like they were waiting for folks to come outside to go back out again. At least for me, it sounded like they were shooting, and then people from the house were shooting back at them. Another neighbor named Zach Thames said he woke up and at first couldn't tell what the sound was. There were so many of them going off that I didn't register it as gunfire at first, just because there were so many of them. But then you hear people start screaming and yelling, and then there was a second, maybe even a third round of gunshots. People ducking behind cars and stuff running up that alley. The screams were frantic. Police radio captured the same picture, with officers being told over dispatch that over 100 people were inside when the shots went off, and being ordered to clear all the young people from the area right away. The bullets didn't stay inside the party. One stray bullet crossed the street and went straight into the home of a neighbor named Solomon Mitchell, coming in through the front window, going through the couch where his son usually slept, passing through a wall and stopping near the back door. Mitchell had moved his son upstairs to bed about 45 minutes earlier and told reporters it was a miracle his child survived. When police secured the scene, they recovered around 80 shell casings from multiple different weapons. Brittney was found with gunshot wounds and taken to a nearby hospital where she was pronounced dead. 2 other men made their own way to IU Health Methodist Hospital, one in critical condition and the other stable, and a 4th person was hurt trying to run from the property.
Whenever there's a shooting involving teenagers, the question is invariably asked, where were the parents? Well, Hollis Members tells me that his daughter, Brittany Members, was standing right there at the front door of that short-term rental at the corner of 40th and Park. Brittany Members was hosting her daughter's after-prom party for her friends from Crispus Attucks High School Sunday morning when 2 people with guns and wearing masks knocked on the door.
I was told that somebody came to their door and they had ski masks on, and they tried to get in, and she said, "You can't go in there, we don't know you, and you can't come in." He said, "So we can't come in," and fired a shot point blank to my baby's head. Everyone's carrying guns, McQuaid, you know, there's no doubt about that. No one's coming forward with any information to help them solve the crimes. They can only go by the evidence they have. You know, but if someone comes forward and say, look, this person did this and this person did that, this would be a better city.
The owner of the big yellow house never registered with the city as a short-term rental and has been put on notice that it has 30 days to do so before enforcement kicks in. Neighbors with bullet holes in their windows knew trouble was brewing.
When there's a lot of people and didn't look like a lot of supervision after those hours, it could get a little scary.
We've faced this situation the last few years with our short-term rentals being a problem location.
So you're going to hear us say those same things over and over again. Parents, we need you to get involved.
Brittany Members was involved, and it cost her life.
The Marion County Coroner's Office confirmed Brittany's identity and listed her cause of death as gunshot wounds. Brittany Grundy died at an after-prom party for her own daughter in the same neighborhood she had lived in her whole life, hours after taking prom photos with her family at home. As of right now, no suspects have been named, no arrests have been made, and IMPD has not publicly confirmed a motive. The homicide unit is working the case, but the official record is still very thin. Police have said only what they can confirm, and their public statement was direct. No information has been shared about a suspect or motive at this time. Social media had theories about a fight over someone being turned away at the door, but IMPD has not confirmed any of that. What is confirmed is that a disturbance turned into a shooting, and a woman who had no part in that dispute is dead. What police have made clear is this: authorities have publicly warned that they are preparing for possible retaliation following the shooting, which tells you they believe this was not random. Now, the story does not end with Brittany's case alone, and that is exactly the point. The yellow house on North Park Avenue was an unregistered short-term rental operated by 4Life Investments, Inc. of Fort Wayne, running in clear violation of local law. The city issued a compliance notice after the shooting, but that does not bring Brittany back. And the harder truth is that this situation did not come out of nowhere. This shooting is one entry in a long, documented list of incidents that have been building across Indianapolis and the rest of the country. And the fact that nothing stopped it before Brittany died is the part that should make people angry. Let us go through what that list actually looks like, starting right here in Indianapolis. In January of 2025, IMPD officers had to respond to a Verbo-style rental property on the 800 block of Spruce Street in the Fountain Square area of the city. A large party of young adults and teenagers had gathered there through the night, and by around 1:20 in the morning, shots were fired. When police got inside, they found and seized between 9 and 12 handguns, along with drugs, and they detained 16 people in a mix of juveniles and adults. Witnesses saw over 40 people running out of the property. No one died, but officers walked into a house that looked like a weapons warehouse, and the owner of that property was from out of state, had no idea what was happening inside, and had done no screening of the people staying there. IMPD specifically pointed to that incident as evidence of a growing problem with short-term rentals, hosting unsupervised parties where guns and drugs were showing up regularly. Then, in August of 2025, a 17-year-old named Xavion Whitlow was shot and killed at a party at a short-term rental on the near north side of Indianapolis, the exact same part of the city where Brittney died 9 months later. The gathering was described as a birthday event for young people, and the setup was identical to North Park Avenue: an unregistered rental, a large crowd, limited supervision, and a fatal outcome. Xavion Whitlow was 17 years old, at a birthday party, and he came home in a casket. The problem goes beyond Indianapolis. The very day after Brittney was killed, a vehicle drove past an after-prom party at a short-term Verbo rental in Liberty Township, Ohio, near Cincinnati, and fired approximately 12 shots. Between 75 and 100 teenagers were there as the party wound down in the early morning hours, and when the shots came, the chaos included pepper spray in the crowd, teens running into the street, and neighbors describing it as a war zone. Nobody was hit by a bullet that night, but the property had already received prior complaints about noise and large gatherings, and nothing had changed. Go back even further and you will find a teen birthday party in Bath Township, Ohio, hosted at an Airbnb property in November of 2025, where 9 people were shot when gunfire broke out during the gathering. 9 people at a teenager's birthday party. And earlier, in April of 2026, an after-prom party in Polk County, Texas turned fatal after guns were displayed at the gathering and a fight broke out, which is almost word for word what the research shows was happening at the North Park Avenue house in the hours before Brittney died. The same playbook: prom night, short-term rental, guns out on social media before the shooting, a disturbance, and then somebody getting killed. IMPD has described this pattern explicitly, saying that parties at short-term rentals are becoming a growing trend of violence in the city, with the same common factors showing up every time: crowds of 50 to 100 young people, absentee owners renting without any guest vetting, guns being displayed on social media before anything even happens, and disputes during the party that turn into shooting. Neighbors in Indianapolis organized a community meeting at Womack Memorial CME Church on May 6th to sit down with IMPD and push for real enforcement of the registration laws that already exist but are clearly not being applied. Whether that meeting produces anything meaningful is the question that Brittney's family and Xavion Whitlow's family and every other family that has lost someone at one of these parties deserves to have answered. What is left at the end of all of this is a family in mourning. The GoFundMe set up by her family was titled Honoring Brittney Members' Memory and raised over $5,600 from 47 donors to help cover funeral costs. Her children are growing up without their mother, including a baby who will never have a real memory of who she was. And right now, the people who pulled that trigger have not been held responsible for any of it. Brittany Grundy spent her last full day alive doing something good for her daughter, and she deserved to come home from that party and keep doing that for the rest of her life. Do you think the city is doing enough to stop this from happening again? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're new here, make sure you subscribe because we cover stories like this every week.
Once I throw on this down, chicka wow wow, what you gonna say? You act like you gon' leave, but I know that you gon' stay. Break it down, dick it down, down, girl, don't even play. Once I set the mood right, I'ma make it sound like.
Do the guitar, baby.
I'ma make it sound like. Gotta make me wait till the second day, but I can't even contemplate.
Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.